News this morning, just a short time ago, Iran's supreme leader says his country will not surrender and warns that any U.S. military intervention will bring irreparable harm. Those remarks come after a wave of new strikes from Israel overnight, more than 50 fighter jets hitting what Israeli officials say are military targets and a centrifuge production facility. With us now is Congressman Tim Burchett, a Republican from Tennessee, a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, always great to have you on the show. How involved would you like to see the U.S. here?
Thank you. Very little. We give Israel about $4 billion a year and other military assets. I think we should allow them to fight this thing. I fear basically a three-front war. You know, we're involved with Ukraine, and then we pull out from around Taiwan, and that exposes them to China. That's something that China would love to see. And, you know, we don't need another endless war in the Middle East. I think Israel has the capabilities. They've shown they have the technology and the intelligence. You know, taking out 3 of their top people is a good thing. And, of course, those Ayatollahs are going to say that. They're hiding out in some cave somewhere, and they're going to, you know, old men make decisions and young men die. And that's the history of war. I would warn folks, though, that we need to do about what's right and not what our stock portfolios say, because a lot of this military assets is a lot of people vote for these things because they have jobs in their districts, and that's just the cold hard facts of warfare.
So you say you would like to see very little U.S. involvement. There are Republicans, Lindsey Graham and others, who say that Iran nuclear capabilities are a threat to the United States, not just Israel, but to the U.S., and that the U.S. is the only country with the capability to take out the nuclear enrichment facility in Fordo. What do you say to that?
They can't get past Greece with their missiles. I think if they had, they would have already launched them. That's pretty evident. In their last missile strike, I think they put 2 of their major missiles in the air. That tells me they're just about out. And your previous expert talked about their apparatus was inoperable. That means that Israelis blew the hell out of it on the ground. Again, I think we need to take a deep breath and slow down this thing and let the Israelis do their thing. And ultimately that's what's going to bring them to the negotiating table. Like I said, we do not need another endless war. The weapons of mass destruction. I'm pretty confident Iran has those capabilities of nuclear war, but they can't get to us. And I think the Israelis are doing a great job right now of eliminating any threat. And I think we should allow them to do that.
There is a bit of a divide in your own party on this. It seems like you're saying you don't want U.S. military involvement here. You're agreeing on that. And we saw this new video. Tucker Carlson, who is someone who in the past has been very supportive of the president, had an interview with Senator Ted Cruz from Texas. I just want to play a little bit of that.
How many people live in Iran, by the way?
I don't know the population.
At all?
No, I don't know the population.
You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? What's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay,
it's not even. You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government.
You're the one who
don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country.
Congressman, where do you come down on this? And Tucker Carlson has called some members of your own party warmongers.
Yeah, well, I call them war pimps. You know, Lindsey Graham's a friend of mine. Ted Cruz is a friend of mine. I got a daughter just turned 18 last week on the same day as the president did in the United States Army. I don't want to see her go to war. My daddy fought in the Second World War. Hell, my mama flew an airplane during the Second World War. She lost her brother to the day she died. Every time they unfurled that flag, she would tear up. And that was for a just cause. I just don't see American boys and girls going to a faraway land that many of us couldn't even find on a map. Again, it's Israeli. The Israelis can handle this thing. Let's let them handle it. We do not need a 3-front war in our lifetime right now. I just don't think that's the route to go. There'll be room for debate, but I think we ought to let the president do his negotiating skills. That's what I elected him to do.
Okay. before I lose this connection, which seems to be weakening right now, Congressman. I do want to ask you about the tax and spending bill, which the House passed a version of. It's now before the Senate. A new CBO analysis says the Senate version would add to the national debt $2.8 trillion. Your view of that, is this something you could vote yes on?
Probably not. I don't always agree with the CBO either way. I do my own analysis. Basically, are we spending more money than we're taking in? And that's exactly what we're doing. Under the one we passed, over the next 10 years, it would add $3 trillion to our debt. Under the Joe Biden administration, we added $1 trillion every 100 days. So clearly the House version slows that rate of growth down. I'd like to see us go more in that direction than the other direction. The IRA spending, the Medicaid, Medicare adjustments that they've made, some of them are unacceptable to us. I just want to eliminate waste, abuse, and fraud and stick to that and quit messing with all this other stuff. I think it was a decent proposal the president put forward, and I think we ought to go forward with that and try to make that work.
All right, Congressman Tim Burchett from Tennessee, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much. Sarah.